guys, it is the end of the night for me, and I don't normally do this, but my hair is up and I didn't cut it or anything. I know a lot of people usually freak out, at least on TikTok, whenever I have my hair up in a bun or something. They always think that I cut it, but it's just up in a little bun in the back of my head. You can't really see it, but I kind of always feel like a little pixie whenever I do this to my hair. And I just wanted to read to you guys because I did a TikTok live and everybody was asking me to read them a bedtime story. And reading's a little challenging to film at a good angle, and I kind of don't really look the best anyways, but I'm going to read to you from this Edgar Allen Poe book because it's one of the only books that's kind of well known that I have on my shelf right now. And one of the only things that I can think of, though, just be a basic fun read for you guys. So if you guys like the sound of my voice, you like the sound of me reading, this is probably a good one. You know, it's a good choice. I'm kind of emo, kind of gothic, kind of whatever. So if you're somebody who's a fan of my voice and you'd like to hear me read, that's what this video is for. It's not really one for new viewers, I guess. It's not typical of what content I make. Of course, I don't make any regular content here on this channel. This is just kind of whatever. But I don't think this is a good ASMR because, you know, I'm not whispering it to you. You know, I thought that I'd want to talk. So I'll read a little bit more than you would think. I do like the sound of this page, though. I'll do a little ASMR moment. I don't know. That doesn't work. Now, where the heck is the raven? Okay. I want to read The Dream Within a Dream, too. That looks like a good one. Looks like a promising one that I've never read. Actually, I want to read The Evening Star. Let's go to The Evening Star first, and then we'll go The Raven, and then we'll go something else. These are all stories, for the most part, that I haven't heard, but The Evening Star. This one was published in Tamerlane on Other Poems in 1827. This lyric poem was never printed again during Poe's lifetime. 'Twas noon... I'm talking a little too loud and too close to my mic, I guess. 'Twas noontime of... Hydration, babe. 'Twas noontime of summer. 'Twas noontide of summer, in mid-time of night, and stars in their orbits shone pale through the light of brighter the cold moon, mid planets her slaves, herself in the heavens, her beam on the waves. I gazed a while on her cold smile, too cold for me. There passed as a shroud, a fleecy cloud, and I turned away to thee, proud evening star, in thy glory afar. Dearer thy beam shall be, for joy to my heart is the proud part. Thou bearest in heaven at night, the more I admire thy distant fire, that the colder the lowly light. Okay, well, let's go and let's see where the raven is. Okay. What the heck? I guess it's back here. I read this the other day on live stream, and like a lot of people liked it, a lot of people didn't like it. You know, we don't read every day on live stream. It was just kind of a one-time thing because people asked. The Raven. This one is a classic, and if you don't know this one, I don't know where you've been. Every time I hear this story, I think about The Simpsons, the Treehouse of Horror. I don't know. I'm gonna move where this mic is. But I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Treehouse of Horror, but every single Halloween, that's something that I would always watch. I remember whenever I was a kid, we had this box set of Treehouse of Horror. And I would just binge watch like all the best ones. There's this one where the walls were bleeding and it was kind of like a poltergeist kind of a thing. Anyways, The Raven. Once upon a midnight dreary, while I pondered weak and weary over many a quaint and curious volume of forgotten lore, while I nodded nearly napping, suddenly there came a tapping, as someone gently rapping at my chamber door. "'Tis some visitor," I murmured, tapping at my chamber door. "'Tis some visitor," I muttered, tapping at my chamber door. Only this, and nothing more. Ah, distinctly I remember, it was in the bleak of December, and each separate dying ember wrought its ghost upon the floor. Eagerly I wished the morrow, vainly I had sought to borrow from my books surcease of sorrow for one lost Lenore, for the rare and radiant maiden whom angels named Lenore, nameless here for evermore. And the silken, sad, uncertain rustling of each purple curtain thrilled me, filled me with fantastic terrors never felt before, so that now, to the still beating of my heart, I stood repeating, "'Tis some visitor, entreating in trance at my chamber door. Some late visitor, entreating in trance at my chamber door. This is it, and nothing more." Presently my soul grew stronger, hesitating then no longer. "Sir," said I, "or madame, truly your forgiveness I implore, but the fact is I was napping, and so gently you came rapping, and so faintly you came tapping at my chamber door, that I scarce was sure I heard you. Here I opened wide the door, darkness there and nothing more. Deep into that darkness peering long I stood, the wandering, fearing, doubting, dreaming dreams no mortal ever dared dream before. But the silence was unbroken, and the stillness gave no token. And the only word there spoken was whispered one word, Lenore. This I whispered, and an echo murmured back the word Lenore, merely this, and nothing more. Back into the chamber turning, all my soul within me burning, soon I heard again tapping somewhat louder than before. Back into the chamber turning, all my soul within me burning. "Surely," I said, "surely there was something at my window lattice. Let me see what thereat is, and this mystery explore. Let my heart be still a moment, and this mystery explore. 'Tis the wind, and nothing more." Open here I flung a shutter, when with many a flirt and flutter, and there I stepped a stately raven of the saintly days of yore. Not the least obeisance made he, not an instant stopped or stayed he, but with mien of lord or lady perched above my chamber door. Perched upon the bust of Pallas just above my chamber door, perched and sat, nothing more. Then this ebony bird beguiling my sad fancy into smiling, by the grave and stern decorum of the countenance it wore. "Though my crest be shorn and shaven, thou," I said, "art sure no craven? Ghastly grim, an ancient raven wandering from the nightly shore, tell me what thy lordly name is on thy night's Plutonian shore." Quoth the raven, "Nevermore." Much I marvelled to this ungainly fowl to hear discourse so plainly, though its answer little meaning, little relevancy bore, for what we cannot help agreeing, that no living human being ever yet was blessed with seeing a bird above their chamber door, bird or beast upon the sculptured bust upon his chamber door, with such name as Nevermore. But the raven, sitting lonely on the placid bust, spoke only that one word, as if his soul in that one word he did outpour. Nothing further than he uttered, not a feather than he fluttered, till I scarcely more than muttered, "Other friends have flown before. On the morrow he will leave me, as my hopes have flown before." Then the bird said, "Nevermore." Startled at the stillness, broken by reply, "Aptly spoken, doubtless," said I. "What it utters is its stock and store, caught from some unhappy master, whom's unmerciful disaster followed fast and followed faster, till his songs one burden bore, till the dirges of his hope that melancholy burden bore, of nevermore. but the raven still beguiling all my sad soul into smiling. Straight I wheeled a cushioned seat in front of the bird, and bust in the door. Then, upon the velvet sinking, I betook myself to linking fancy unto fancy, thinking what this ominous bird of yore, what this grim, ungainly, ghastly, gaunt and ominous bird of yore meant in croaking, nevermore. This I sat engaged in guessing, but no syllable expressing to the fowl whose fiery eyes now burned into my bosom's core. This and more I sat divining with my head at ease reclining on the cushion's velvet lining at the lamplight gloated o'er, but whose velvet violet lining with the lamplight gloated o'er she shall press, nevermore. Then methought the air grew denser, perfumed by an unseen censer, swung by angels whose faint footfalls tinkled on tufted floor. Wretch, I cried, the God hath lent thee, by the angels hath sent thee, respite and nepenthe from thy memories of Lenore. Quaff, oh quaff, this kind nepenthe, and forget the lost Lenore. Quoth the raven, nevermore. Prophet, said I, thing of evil, prophet still, if bird or devil, whether tempter or sent, or whether tempest, tossed thee here ashore, desolate yet all unhaunted on this desert land enchanted, on this home by horror haunted, tell me truly, I implore, is there balm in Gilead? Tell me more, I implore. Quoth the raven, nevermore. Prophet, said I, by the heaven that bends above us, by that God we both adore, tell this soul with sorrow laden, if within the distant Aidenn it shall clasp a sainted maiden whose angels name Lenore, clasp a rare and radiant maiden whose angels name Lenore. Quoth the raven, nevermore. Be that the word of sign of parting, bird or fiend, I shrieked upstarting, get thee back to the tempest, and the night's Plutonian shore. Leave no black plume as a token that lie hath spoken. Leave my loneliness unbroken. Quit the bust against my door. Take thy beak from out my heart, and take thy form from off my door. Quoth the raven, nevermore. And the raven, never flitting, still is sitting on the pallid bust of Pallas just above my chamber door. And his eyes have all seeming of a demon's that is dreaming, and the lamplight o'er him streaming shows his shadow on the floor. And my soul from out that shadow lies floating on the floor, shall be lifted nevermore. Now, I actually don't know what any of that means, but it was a words, and maybe it was soothing to you if you like my voice and you wanted to hear me read you something kind of boring. I don't know what that means. Don't know what any of that means. Honestly, I kind of want to do some research into what that means. So, it's a lie. But, So, toodaloo.